What's going on? This video is about how to take over car note from a struggling car owner. And bear with me in this video. I'm currently driving on the highway. I'm driving through Atlanta and I'm actually trying to make a video right now. But I basically run a 52 car Turo fleet on managing other people's cars. I grew my fleet to about 55 cars, where most of these cars is just me managing cars for other people and just using it to create cash flow for them so they can basically pay off their car notes, cover their bills, and just have genuine cash flow for themselves, right? So this video is not for your average beginner Turo guy who's like basically saying where to do lot boxes and how to do bouncy trackers, right? This is not what we're talking about here. This is for advanced Turo host who is looking to scale. You already have about 10 cars, you already have about 20 cars, and you're looking to scale to about 30, 40, 50 cars, right? So the way how I got to 50 cars is basically using this approach where I could go from the angle. And by the way, you might not see me use my hands here. It's because I'm using the self-driving, right? Like I'm using the self-driving, drive the car without using my hands, basically. But it's the supervised one, so I still have to just like pay attention on the road. But I basically be using my phone here because I want to go over some points, all the points that I want to talk about, especially in this video. So it's basically how I do it is I try not to go for everyone who have struggling car notes, but that's one of the main angles that a person would look to give you their car if they're looking to either pay off their car, have the car for free, just 100% not have to worry about the car note whenever they're buying a car or whenever they own a car. So perfect example, I have a lot of people who I work with right now. I'm currently working with a brain surgeon. I work with people who private equity. I work with people who they're doing all types of businesses that they just want to have a car that they could just cover the car note with the cash flow that I can create for them. Now, it does come with risk in terms of like the car damage, stuff like that. But this is why you have Turo insurance, and we've just leveraged that to a point where we can guarantee that a person is going to be indemnified whenever their car gets damaged or whenever something goes wrong. That's one of the main angles that I always pitch whenever I'm like onboarding somebody else, whenever I'm like letting them know what we can do for them and stuff like that. So now how I do my management process, I would just try to make sure that the numbers make sense. So before somebody comes to me with their car note and what they're trying to take over, I have to make sure that the numbers make sense for me. I can actually help them to solve this problem, which is if they're underwater car note or if they're basically just back on their car notes. They're like one payment away from having their car repossessed, something like that, right? Majority of the time, I try my best not to work with people who are just like super over leveraged. But if it does make sense, I'll definitely be able to like help that person just completely like knock out their car note, that they don't have to worry about it once the loan that they have is below whatever the car can monthly cash flow. You don't want to think too hard on this stuff, man, because a lot of these times people aren't really caring about your situation and how to make it happen. They're looking to you as like the savior to just help them solve the bad decision that they made back in the past by getting some car that they can't afford. You understand? So it's like most of these people, they would be very iffy or try to be very like micromanagey when it comes on to their cars. I try not to work with people like that. Just have open minds. They're not trying to tell me what to do in the business, because if they can tell me what to do, why don't they do it themselves? You know what I'm saying? Like I would meet people who are trying to tell me what to do or how to run the business, and I'm just like, bro, like then why do you need me to pay your car note? Why not just pay it yourself? You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the main things, main angles I go from. You do have to understand the splits, right? So first you have to understand how the splits work and how to make sure that you make money and they make money. But the reason how you want to do is you want to make sure that you can help this person first. So if the split doesn't allow you to make money for yourself and it's only helping that person, probably don't want to do that. You probably want to keep it on a level where if the car note makes sense. So if somebody comes to you with like a $1,500 car note, $2,000 car note, don't even try to help them. Just leave them alone. They made that decision. You can't help that person. Unless the only way you could help that person is if you're basically buying cash cars and using the cash cars to pay that car note. That's the only way. So that's one of the main ways how I could advise a person. So if a person is looking to approach it from an angle where they have some extra money to spend, they have the high car note, they don't want to get out of it, they don't want to sell the car, but they have some extra money. They have like 10, 15K. What you can do for them is say, hey, instead of renting out that car with the high car note, buy 2 cash cars and then use the cash cars to pay the car note of the luxury car that you have a crazy car note for. That's one strategy that I always use that strategy, especially when it comes on to just exiting or trying to basically not just exiting, but trying to just make sure that I can pay the car note of the luxury car, whether it's my own personal car or the car that the person wants to give to me so I could run this up for them, right? So this is how it is. So this is why I'm saying that this is not for beginners, because most beginners, they're starting out, they're trying to figure out how the cash flow is working. They're trying to figure out how to best go about this in terms of trying to maintain, trying to not have their bills like over leverage the cash flow of the actual business. But this is why you want to approach people. You're not owning these cars, they're the owners. All you're trying to do is just increase the cash flow so that they can basically pay this bill, right? So this is why you have to approach from the angle where you're not buying the car from them, you're not financing the car from them, and the only thing you're actually doing is just covering the car note. So once you can think about it in that way, where when they come to you for your help, you're not trying to like say, hey bro, I'm just gonna buy the car from you or whatever. If it makes sense to you, you can buy the car. But I'm telling you right now, buying the car never makes sense because some of these people, they just have all types of shit going on. So how you structure the deal and how the whole setting for this is structured. So basically, you're gonna take on the risk and letting them know that you're gonna cover the car note, which is you're not transferring it into your name. You're not doing anything like that. What I basically do is I just make the offer of covering the car note for them. They're the ones who's going to pay the car note. It's just that I'm going to send them the money from the car that's rented out. So they're keeping the car in their name. They're keeping the car under their business. Wherever they finance the car from, that's where they're going to keep the car. And that's exactly how they're going to do it. But you just want to make sure that you're sending them the money so that they can keep doing this. That's how you make the promise. Because all you're basically letting them know is you're just going to do the day-to-day operations. You're going to talk to the customers. You're going to drop the cars off in the delivery areas. That's exactly how you want to deal with it. And it's exactly how I basically deal with it. I'm not like over leveraged having a bunch of cars in my name and stuff like that, right? What you get after you make this promise or structure this deal, you're basically going to get control of the car. You're going to get like the monthly cash flow that's going to come in for yourself and for that person. And you're basically going to get the option to buy out in an equity clause later. So later on, if they basically pay off the car, the entire deal is structured. You have the option of buying the car out just directly from them, whether it's through like you're using the money that they should pay you to buy equity in the car, or you just have a deal that says, hey, after you pay off the car note, then you could sell me the car for this price, which is way below MSRP or way below whatever the car is actually worth. And that's for all the hard work you've done. So I've been in a couple of those deals before, got the option to buy those cars. But to be honest, like half the time, I don't want to have so many cars because why have the cars under my insurance? Why have the cars under my name when I could just have clients that I'm just managing the car? It's the same thing. You get control and operation rights to the cars anyways. Some of these cars I have like power of attorney. I'm able to pay for things on behalf of the car owner, right? So say for instance, the car gets impounded or I got to pick it up from somewhere, something happens, I would have a power of attorney rights for this car. And it doesn't get no sweeter than that because you and this person builds a bond because you're the one who's going to be helping that person just manage all their finances when it comes on to that car. Well, you're not managing their finances, you're just helping them not screwed when it comes down to that crazy car note. But basically, a quick real world insight of how I just do this stuff, right? Well, you're not trying to save them and you're not trying to be anybody's rescuer or anything like that. What you're just doing is you're creating win-win scenarios that can allow a person to continuously make money even though they're like over leveraged when it comes onto this car, right? So that's basically all you're doing. You're not doing anything crazy. You're not trying to scam anyone. All you're doing is just creating a win-win scenario where they win, you win. You're able to help them pay the car note while having another additional car in your fleet, increase cash flow for your fleet, and help them cover their car note, correct? So that's exactly how I take care of all these things. And I can go more in depth, especially doing how I do the deals overall. I can go way more in depth. However, it's just something like, I usually work with people. I usually work one-on-one with people, especially if a person have like 1 to 2 cars and they're looking to go up to like 5 cars. I can directly work one-on-one with you, where I'm 100% sure, I'm confident that I can literally get anyone who has just, you already started with Turo, you already started renting your car. I can guarantee you that I could help you scale up to at least 10 or more cars just without even owning them, without buying any more cars, without financing any more cars, just helping you structure win-win deals based on underutilized cars that's already in your neighborhood, already around you. That's how I can do my thing, and this is how I'm able to just do everything when it comes on to doing my business itself. So that's why I was able to scale up to 50 plus cars, because me personally, in my fleet, I own at least about 4 of the cars, and the rest of the cars, probably 48 plus, those cars are owned by other people. So in that model, that's exactly what I've just mastered, because all I've did was just did the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And once you just do the same thing over and over again, you get to realize a pattern, and you get to realize the type of people who would work with you, and you just get to understand how this stuff works. This is exactly how I do it. This is exactly how I structure my deals. So this is why I'm never like overthinking about it. All I'm doing is just doing the same things and just getting it done in the right way, right? So if this video helped you, like this video, just subscribe, follow this channel. This is all I talk about. On this channel, this is all I talk about. These win-win deals, these win-win structures, how to structure them, how to find these people, and just how to not get screwed whenever managing other people's cars. So if you like this, give me a subscribe, watch out for the other videos. You can watch all the other videos on this channel. That's all we talk about here, the OPC method. So right now I'm just driving through Atlanta, taking like a cross-country trip right now. So I'm like deep in Atlanta right now, trying to get this shit done. But yeah, man, see you in the next one.